Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we are in Strangerville and we are renovating Old Penelope, so the lot that comes in Strangerville that has the crashed aircraft on it for George Cahill. We are giving him an upgrade today. He is going to have this big bunker house on a hill. He's going to have space for chickens and gardening, and he's going to have plenty of workshop space, and he also will still have an underground space so that he can feel safe and secure. Because he has the paranoid trait, he tends to enjoy being in like a basement type dwelling. So I thought it would be cool to still give him that option, but also something above ground. It just seemed like it would be a nice upgrade for him. So here you will have seen I just finished the terrain manipulation. I made his hill here. It's like a 2-layer hill, and I used a lot of debug rocks off to the side because I wanted to really give him like the illusion of being hidden in the hills here, and kind of off the beaten path, and you can't see him from town. You just see these big rocks, and maybe you'll see his plane, Old Penelope, still crashed here, but you won't see the house. So that is the idea I had, and I did put some barbed wire fence from werewolves around that little enclosed area, as well as the stone doorway, like the stone archway, and also this factory door is also from werewolves. I thought that they looked really, really nice and worn down, like they've been here a while, or like he recycled them, and I really enjoyed that look. Also, all the stairs on this lot are from werewolves too. There's a lot of werewolves, a lot of Strangerville, a little bit of eco lifestyle. You know, there's a whole bunch of all those packs that come with like old rundown looking items. Because when else do I have the chance to use them? Only when I build exceptionally rundown lots. And I use the Eco Lifestyle upper, it's like shipping container or corrugated metal like panels tiled together. I thought that was nice. And also some concrete blocks on the side, and then the Strangerville corrugated metal sheeting for the siding on the bottom half of the home. I thought that that fit very nicely. And then for the roofing pattern, I use this one from Werewolves that has like the holes in it. Now I do put a ceiling underneath so you can't like see the holes, the sun coming through it, but the little bit of overhang, you can definitely see some holes coming through. So I think he installed a ceiling so that no rain would get in. I think that makes a lot of sense. He wants to stay nice and dry and protected. That's the idea of having a nice fortified bunker. Protect him from the spores outside so he doesn't become a Strangerville zombie monster like the rest of them. And actually, after I finished this build, funny story, a little side plot while you're watching all these rocks being placed with tool mod. During my play testing, he had the welcome wagon come. They were all Strangerville zombies. They were not one of them was a normal sim. Not a single one. They were all walking crazy eyes, asking to go to the crater. I can't with this world, but it's really fun to build here because I really enjoy the look of it. But you know, in hindsight, I probably could have built this in the world that came with Horse Ranch, which is Chestnut Ridge. But I really wanted to build here. Look at all these rocks. Look at the desert. I love the way the sand blows when you have it in live mode. It's just, it's perfect. Also, these windows I just placed here on the tower on the side are from the Desert Lux kit. I was thinking about adding these windows here from Werewolves. But instead I use these open wooden windows instead from Werewolves because I thought that they made a little bit more sense. And then on this side I used just some rocks, some rock paneling on the side to kind of blend in with that archway. And then I'm adding some Werewolves fencing here as well. And it's a little kind of weird and janky and broken down, but I thought that that made a lot of sense for what we were going for. So I liked it a lot, and I didn't mind that it was a little uneven, like it wasn't perfectly straight with the terrain, so I didn't bother. Now here under this like platform where the steps are, I do raise the terrain a little bit, and then I add a platform, just a tiny little square platform, and then I add some platform trim to match the house. It's just like that field stone, and I thought that that looked really nice. Like, you know, he did fortify the steps just a little bit because they were a little flimsy. And then here I am adding a bunch of debug and live edit plants. I really wanted this place to feel like intentionally overgrown. Like he didn't he didn't do anything with the landscaping. He just kind of let it do its thing, and now he just cleans it up every now and again so that he can get around easier, but he doesn't mind the overgrownness. He lets nature do its thing, and I think that that's his whole thing, his whole vibe. He lets nature do its thing. And then here is a lovely prickly pear cactus that came with the live edit menu for Strangerville. I just lowered it down a little bit because obviously with the terrain tools, it's just jumping all over the place. It did not want to snap to the grid. And then more of these little patches of grass, these patches of dry grass, I put everywhere. And also this little like grouping of flowers. I don't know if they're canyon flowers or whatever, but they're definitely like desert-esque flowers. I also used the canyon flowers that came with Horse Ranch, the yellow and white ones. They kind of look exactly like this, only instead of purple, it's just yellow and white. And I think that they blend in very well with the landscape as well. And then using tool mod just to move some more stuff around. Here's another plant from the debug menu from Strangerville. And then here are more big rocks going in. And you'll just see a little bit of this because I did cut most of it out. It was a lot of rock placement and tool mod. And then I'm adding these beautiful Joshua trees that came with Strangerville. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I love them so much. And I threw them in because I figured he would want some more trees in here. It's not just rocks and cactuses. And then over here on this side of the home, we are adding some very tall grass and more of these canyon flowers that I was talking about that came with Horse Ranch. I really like how you can just piece them together and make it look like they are all one cohesive piece. And then tool mod once more to lower and raise these flowers. So this is why tool mod comes in so handy, because you can move things around very easily. You can raise and lower and, rotate things. Sometimes you can't rotate everything. There are a lot of plants that you can't rotate. Rugs you can't like flip to put on the ceiling, for example. You can't put them on the wall, but it's very good for resizing. And in this case, with all the rocks and the terrain manipulation, definitely needed the tool mod for this. It just wouldn't be possible without it. So here is a bunch more landscaping, more dry grass, some lavender. I thought it was nice, and some more cacti. And then here we are adding some more of these rocks over here to create like a false wall to hide it from the rest of the town. And I did look at it from the town, and you can't see the house. You can only see a little bit of Penelope, the aircraft that I do end up putting back later. And then here we are expanding a little bit of our landscaping up here, adding some bushes kind of like looking like they're growing out of the side of the hill here a little bit, and one more big cactus right here, and some more plants, and that's pretty much it for right now. Then we are going to move in to the upstairs. We're adding a bunch of these security cameras that came with Get to Work. I thought that was necessary. Also, there's an air conditioner unit in the upstairs because I thought that was also necessary, being that they are in the desert. And luckily there's not a lot of windows, and because they have a ceiling fan downstairs and the air conditioner upstairs, I think that it actually stays quite cool. And I think that the walls and the floor being cement definitely helps with that as well. Here are some pipes going in. We have the false water heater and the false electrical box. I did not use real ones. You could always add the real ones if you would like. But I didn't feel like playing with that gameplay here, so I didn't bother. And then over here is where the chickens are going to go. This is our little fenced in chicken area. We have some planter boxes. Then I add the chicken coop and some vertical planters as well. And this space in particular goes through a lot of renovation because when I was building this and it was on this side of the hill, I had that rock that is right now over to the right. It was a little bit... It was up a little bit too high, and I think it was registering with the footprint of the home. So George Cahill did not want or could not get to where I have those vertical planters right now that are right in front of you. And then I moved the chicken coop over there eventually, and he couldn't get to the chickens. And then I moved the clothesline over there because there does end up being laundry, and he can't get to that. So ignore that chicken area for now because it will go through many changes that you will not see on camera. I kept going back to it, trying to fix it, trying to play test it, and I could not make it work, but I did figure it out, and I was able to maneuver the rocks to where they needed to be, and we can still get to everything. Everything is still functional. That was very important to me. So here we are up on the roof. We are getting some water collectors and some solar panels, as you saw, and I made sure he can get to everything because those solar panels that are on the very top flat roof, he actually does have to like repair if they get broken. He can upgrade them versus the ones ones on the gabled roof, right on the front piece. He can't get to those. They won't break or anything. So wanted to make sure he could get to everything up there and collect the water and fix everything when it needs to be, just, to make a little bit more sense. And here's just a little bit of terrain paint. I liked kind of blending all of the underneath of the plants in with everybody else. Now here is, I think, almost our final product of this downstairs chicken area, but we're going to work our way back inside. And here we are in the little stairwell. I just use the same stairs from outside from Werewolves, and then the downstairs door to the main living space is from Eco Lifestyle. And then here is the bathroom situation. Now I do end up pulling out 2 toilets because I was going to split it down the middle, but it didn't really work that way. So I ended up splitting it down the middle in this orientation instead. So this is like 2 bathrooms. Now my thought is, if George decides he wants to have stayover guests, or if he has friends living with him and they all want to go in on this Strangerville mission together, or they just want to survive it together as like a little commune, he'd want to have 2 bathrooms at least on the ground level. That would be ideal. So I use the same kind of brick siding that I used for the stairwell on the other side, and then for the flooring I use the Werewolves kind of broken down linoleum flooring. And I also move a bunch of these scuff marks I pulled out that were from the For Rent pack. And I just throw them all over the walls in the bathrooms to make it make sense. This wall tile that I picked is from Get Famous, I think. It is like soundstage walls. And I thought that it looked really nice. Like it looked very put together on your own, very DIY, like paneling. And I thought that was perfect for this. And also the flooring on the main floor is from For Rent as well. And then upstairs, I think what we end up doing is we use that room as like a multi-person bedroom. So I think it has 3 beds, 2 double beds and 1 single bunk bed on top. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because if he has people staying here, everybody's going to want their own bed, and it just makes the most sense to have everybody sleep in the same room. So here we are in the living room space. We have the rundown couch from Basement Treasures, and then I use these apple crates from Base Game actually, and I use them as like, put 2 together as an end table, and I add this little lantern. Later on I do add a bookshelf from the same pack, the Basement Treasures kit. And then I think what I do is, after I put a stain in the bathroom, because that was necessary, I add a rug here from Werewolves, and then all I do is change the orientation ever so slightly, and then change the swatch to like this greenish bluish swatch. I really thought that it looked nice. And then over here is that worn down armchair from the same kit, Basement Treasures, and there's that bookshelf right here. You'll see I'm going to grab that and move it over next to where the TV goes in just a second. But for now, we are in the kitchen. So I use these ones, the vault countertops and cabinets from Base Game, and the more rundown Base Game fridge. And then I think what I did is I added the sink that has like the well pump looking thing on it. I thought that made the most sense. And here I am. We are going to move this bookshelf over here ever so slightly. And I did have to use tool mod to size it down a little bit. I also had trouble with my sim not being able to get to the bookshelf, and I realized it was another rock on the other side of the window that was just too close, and the footprint was not letting him get to it. So debugging live edit items, every now and again, like it's hit or miss. Sometimes they can go around them or walk through debug or live edit items, and sometimes they cannot. So we live and we learn. But here we go. We added a range hood above the stove, and then we are adding our upper head cabinets to match the bottom cabinets. And I kind of wanted it to look like, I don't know, like he put them in here on his own, and they're just kind of like, they'll do for now. He didn't really mind too much, just kind of throwing them in there. So he had a little bit of extra storage for his supplies. I did size up the fridge ever so slightly so that it would fit in here nicer. And then I think what I did was I did change the stove eventually to be the white swatch, because I didn't like the yellow. It just wasn't doing it for me. And then over here, I think the only thing that I do is I add the brick on the inside of the stairwell and then some lights. So this hanging light bulb from Laundry Day Stuff, which is perfect. I use that hanging light bulb quite frequently, and also the hanging fluorescent light from Werewolves. I thought that was nice in here as well. Here's like the double the double stinky bed from Eco Lifestyle, and also the double inflatable bed that came with outdoor retreat. And then here is the werewolves bunk bed on top here. I thought that this made a lot of sense because someone could stay up there, and then underneath the bed is where the dresser could go. It was a little bit more space efficient because this room, even though it's very big, it doesn't look that big when there's 3 beds in it. So I just thought it made a good amount of sense. And here we are throwing in some more windows up here. I actually put a window right where that air conditioner is, and I thought that that made even more sense than it just sticking in the wall. So I really liked that idea. And then the wallpaper is also from Basement Treasures. It's like that faded kind of half gradient wallpaper, and also that flickering standing light next to the bed. I couldn't resist it. Adding more of these construction like site lights all over the place because they're just perfect. They completely fit the bill for what we're going for. And then this selection of kind of, I don't know, eclectic rugs, if you would say that. They're very interesting with their pattern arrangement. Some of them I would not pattern together like that, but you know, what are you going to do? Here's a Moschino window. I changed it up a little bit. Put a nice factory window right here. Maybe he came across it in his travels and he thought that he wanted to add that to his home when he was building this place. And you know what? More power to you. You have a window upstairs you can open if you want. And then adding some more stains and some more mold and mildew and scratches and stuff. I don't know. I thought that he needed this in here. He needed to really get the feeling across. And then here's some posters behind that stinky bed. And we have a lantern going on top of the dresser, which is actually like 2 stacked chests. I thought that made more sense. And also a box of like dingy clothes and books and stuff. Maybe someone brought that with them and then they left it there because George needed some more books or whatever. I don't know. Makes sense to me. And then adding some more wall details. We have some like bumps and scratches where the bed has been hitting the wall when people have been getting into it. A cobweb up here. And then some more scuffs and whatnot behind the bed. And over here, up against this wall, we end up adding the listening device. That's what it is. It's called the listening device. And I set that up right here upstairs, because they get the best reception upstairs. So we set down the listening device right over here, and then I put this lovely little ottoman chest thing at the end of his bed. That is his bed, by the way. I decided because I just like the way it's oriented in the room, like he can see who's coming in at all times. And then I add that little like archway, like the metal pillar archway right over his bed, because I just liked the accent in the room of the metal. I don't know. And here's some clutter around the listening device on the floor because I thought that he needed a little bit more clutter. Now we're jumping outside. You're going to see I placed down that trailer over in the far corner, and then here's Old Penelope going back in. She does come in multiple pieces. So we placed the body down, and then here's the front of the plane. Here are the wings, and then also the engine. The engine is separate, which I thought was funny. So I ended up pulling it out and placing it up against the wing. Like he's just kind of didn't know where to put it, so he put it there for now. And I think that the story goes that George Cahill was the pilot of this plane when it went down. So he has kept all of the parts in hopes of being able to reconstruct her at some point. And he really wants to put her back together and maybe hopefully get back to his piloting days. But I think honestly, if you landed in Strangerville and all this stuff was going on, you'd be a little preoccupied. I'm just saying. But we have the stairs going in here for his underground bunker, right underneath the main body of the plane. I did have to do a lot of play testing with this because for a while he couldn't get to where the stairs are. Again, I didn't know if this was going to be a situation where it was going to be difficult for him to get to the stairs or not. So I kind of knew I was probably going to have to move some stuff around. Luckily, I was able to just move the wing that's like closest to the house just a little bit more forward, turn it ever so slightly more to the side, and then we were totally fine. He was able to get into his basement bunker. And then here we are working on the floor plan down here. So I added a big container, like a shipping container door to this side of the basement, and that's going to be where the bathroom is, where that green wall is. That's going to be the bathroom in there. It takes a while to come together, but you will see it eventually. And then on this side, I do end up splitting it. I wasn't going to split it. It was just going to be one large room, but I do split it up. You'll see me pulling out all of the science-y equipment and whatnot. So I pull out the Strangerville like chemical analyzer, and then also another analyzing device, like a little lab table from Get to Work, I believe. And the robotics station, which is from university, that is going to be in its own little room. I'm going to close that off. But this chess table right here, I use the chairs from Werewolves, and also all the lights down here are from Werewolves. And then here is the big sliding pneumatic door that goes in before you get to like the lab area. I thought he should have a nice workspace for all of his sensitive things, all of his sensitive work. He has to put in like a passcode to get in there. And then over here we have his normal computer will be going in right here. I use this desk from the Strangerville pack, and then I pull out just the very most basic computer that the game has, and also a nice unlocked chair. It comes with I forget what career it comes with, but here's some beakers on this desk and also a camping lantern. And I think just a couple more posters behind the wall. And then I add some more clutter to the floor here, just these papers that kind of look like a rug. And then over here in the bathroom, we are picking out which bathroom stalls we want to use. At first I pulled out those blue ones, but I like these better from university in like the kind of faded, like really thick, chunky metal for the stalls. I thought that made just a tiny bit more sense. Like they just look more old. He got them recycled. He upcycled them. And then we're adding some more lights in each stall. Now over here, we're going to kind of sort of close it off. He has this DIY shower situation right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to block it off for now. And then after that, I think I end up putting up the spandrels first. First I end up putting the curtains up because I wanted to make sure I had them on the wall so I could use Toolmon to lower or raise them down as needed. But here they are, and I had put them on the wrong side, so then I just flipped them around instead because I didn't realize that I had put them on the wrong side. I was a little tired at this point. This took me a while to finish, actually. This took me about 3 days, maybe? Yeah, this took me about 3 days with just like a couple hour at a time building sessions, so it was definitely rough. I had a hard time because I was going back and forth on what I wanted to have in here. So it took me a while. Also, my husband has been playing his game, and it's very like not apocalyptic, but it's a survival game. So I would keep getting ideas like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And that's actually what inspired me. So I thought it would be fun to take some inspiration from that. You'll see that I made the lab room a little bit more dirty. There's cracks and scuffs and stains on the wall. Also, the flooring in here is metal corrugated flooring. It's from Base Game. And then I'm adding some nice mats underneath all of the workstations because I thought that was important. And he is a little bit older, so be good to have some support for his back. Now here is this lovely shelf, and I think it is so cool, so I decided to add some robotic stuff to it. There's a fan, there's a cleaner bot, a repair bot, and I think a fixer bot. No, a cleaner bot, a repair bot, gardener bot, that's right. Cleaning, gardening, and fixing. That is the main name of the game for him. And then also I added some robotics salvage parts because, again, he's going to be repairing and building robots. Now, I did have to fill all of the empty slots on this shelf, so you will see me just frantically placing robotics pieces over and over and over and over again, and that is just me trying to fill up the entire shelf. And then we will be adding a little servo right here next to the shelf, and I thought that was important. Also, a clock up here on the wall so you can tell what time it is. I mean, you are in a basement and you don't even know what time of day it is. Over here we added a truck to the front of this trailer, and then over here you will see his workspace. This has all of his like crafting things are out here, and don't worry, I do put up an awning. I pull out a debug awning right here, and it's from Base Game. It's the white and red striped one right here, and I just kind of place it where I need it to be, raise it up, and then just use the same piece over, and I just conjoin them together to make them make sense, and that's pretty much it. And then underneath the awning we have the juice fizzing station, the candle making station, and also the woodworking bench, so that way he can do things for recreation. He can do things to sell. You know, you're always going to need candles, especially if you're living off the grid. You're going to need candles. Juice is always good because you'll always have something to give you nutrition. And then woodworking in case you have to build yourself more furniture or garden boxes. So thought that made sense. Here is just to prove that garden space was working. Finally, I had chickens coming in my house, but no big deal. And then we are adding a wood stove from Horse Ranch because in my husband's game, he always has his stove next to his wood stove next to his cooking stove so that he can purify water and then quickly cook meals. And I thought that is a genius idea. So I put that in here too, because I'm thinking that is kind of how this guy lives his life as well. Very survivalist, very prepared, and just practical, and who cares what it looks like. I think that's just, I don't know, it's great. Not everything has to be aesthetic. So here is a lovely bike that I think he made for himself. I put that over by the pickup truck in case he needs to make a quick run into town, but Lord forbid he has to do that. Adding some trash bags from Debug, and then over here is a broken down car, and I do end up adding like tools and such right in front of it. I think I pull out this blowtorch and the mask, obviously, and also a tape measure, and this is like a little toolkit. You can use it to actually I think you can actually use it to fix bikes in the game, like the kids' bikes. I'm not 100% sure. That might be one that came with Growing Together. If not, then that one is just from Get Famous, which I believe is just a prop for acting. And then over here, we're just moving this cactus back over because I just wanted to add a little bit more landscaping. Also, that windmill does function. It came in 2 pieces in the live edit menu. I think the propeller itself may have been from Cats and Dogs, but the stand itself came with Strangerville. And then you'll see I just placed some agave plants over in the corner along with some like aloe plants and some succulents and some cactuses. Like I said, I did go a little crazy with the landscaping here. I also added some really tall grass all around everything to make it look super overgrown, but I thought that we needed this place to really blend in like it's been here a while. And I just love the natural terrain paint that came with this lot, so I didn't have to do much to change that. Just adding a ceiling fan, and then we are all set to go into our live mode footage. So here he is enjoying some classics on his old TV, and I just love the way this looks. He looks so happy. He's totally content with his life right here. And he has his chicken friends, and they satisfy his social need quite well. And he loves caring for them. He has all of his vegetables. He has his cameras turned on, so he can always keep an eye on what is happening outside of his home. Here, I had him making a knife block for his house because I thought he could use some kitchen clutter. And then I thought after that, he could maybe grab a little bottle of juice. But here's the welcome wagon invading, so he decided to head on down to his basement bunker. Oh my god. And he just decided to do some research on how he could maybe combat his unwanted visitors from coming onto his property in the most effective way possible, cost-effective way possible. So here he is coming in to try to construct something to help him with that at his robotic station, making sure no one's looking over his shoulder because he is paranoid. In fact, I just thought this was hilarious. And then he knew that he had to go up and fix his solar panel, or at least upgrade it so that it wouldn't break again. And that is pretty much it. He's all done. He's having the time of his life. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this one. And also you'll see there's the windmill moving. There's a big satellite dish I put up at the last second in the back. That is also a live edit item. I just really like this build. I think it's way different than anything I've ever done. I'm not used to building in the desert, and I'm certainly not used to building something run down and creepy and kind of dirty like this. So let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see next, or if you hated this and you want to see something different, please also let me know, because I don't know unless you don't tell me. And I really, really appreciate the love and appreciate you guys coming here today to watch this video. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys.